Okay, so we want to set this up in our 4-jaw chuck so I can actually face this section off the base. So that'll become my reference plane for every other bit of machining we do, including drilling my holes. If I was to go and set that up in a drill right now and drill my holes, I put that on my drill, I go and drill my holes, so what happens to my holes when they go through the casting? They're crooked compared to this face here. Alright, so we grab our 4-jaw chuck, so I've taken one off one of the machines. I'm going to open up 2 jaws that are opposite each other. So this sort of setup, this is where 4-jaw chucks become extremely useful compared to our 3-jaw chuck. So to start off with, I don't need this block of timber in there anymore, so we're going to knock him out. Ridge is gone. I'm going to set my job up inside the 4-jaw chuck. So I open those up so I get out to there. Around this side. Right, so I'm going to start off by holding it on the ends of the casting. Tighten her up. Closer to the middle. So I don't need to worry about actually getting this thing running dead true on the centre, because the only cut I'm going to do is across here. So I'm actually facing the job more so than looking to turn it down so it's running true to the centre line of the lathe. Okay, so I've roughly plugged that in. Get my scribing block. I'm going to set this up at the end of the job on this side. I'm going to set that up. Come around here and have a look. There's our marking off line. So I'm going to set that up so it's actually on our marking off line. And I bring that across our chuck face to make sure I've got that thing sitting square to the face of the chuck. So that's one side. On this side, and as we can see we're up quite a long way. So I'll grab our hammer and very gently just tap it down. Okay. So I check and make sure that thing's sitting square. So we're a bit high on that side, so we'll go and we'll just twist the job a little bit in the chuck. Okay, a little bit more down on that side. Okay, so just send that scriber up again, and we have that sitting at that position on this side, and we'll come around this way again and we'll check across that face, and we can see it's just gone down a little bit more on the other side, so we'll just do a gentle tap. And there we go, we've got that set on that side as well. So now I've got the thing locked in between these jaws, and I have the line or the base that I'm going to machine down to set parallel to the face of the chuck. Come back around, tighten him up. Okay, have a look down there. If you have a look down between the face of our casting and our chuck jaw, you can see that down the bottom is actually closer to the casting than up the top. Problem. If I go and tighten up this jaw, that's going to automatically pull the casting square. And I don't want it to do that. So what I've got to do is I've got to get some packing, and a round bar. Okay, so we're going to pick which way we're going to work this. So if I go put my packing up here to tighten that jaw up, I'm actually going to have bits of metal sitting up here which are going to get in the way of me actually cutting that face. So what I'm going to do is on this side I will put a round bar in. So it works on the same principles as using our round bar in our vise on our milling machine. It gives me a point of contact so I don't actually have this jaw trying to push the job square. I'll come around to this side. I'm going to wind this chuck jaw up till it just touches the top of the casting there. Look down in the bottom and I've got a gap down there. Now, the little trick is bring your chuck up onto the side, grabbing some packing. So I've got 2 pieces in this case. I'm going to put that up on the inside of my chuck. Okay, so that's a little bit tight. I might put just a little bit more in there. So that's sitting on the bottom of the jaw on the inside of my chuck. So now, when I go and tighten this up, the jaw will make contact on the top and on the bottom at the same time. Grab my round bar. I want to put that so that's sitting in the middle of the face of my casting, and bring that up onto the face of the casting as well, and lock that off. Okay, so as I said, this is not critical that the centre of the casting is running true to the centre line of the machine. What we're trying to do with this job is face this surface parallel to the surface of my chuck. So I'm just going around, nipping it up, making sure there's no movement, so when I transfer it back onto the machine, I'll go around once more and tighten it up. But we'll grab our scribing block, come back, check, and we can see there, see how our line's still parallel to the face of the chuck. And on this side, and same again. Line's still parallel to the face of the chuck. We can also come in and check this side as well. So there's our little prick punch marks. We see the tip of our scribe is just going straight into them. So we've got our face parallel to the chuck on this side, and same on this side as well. Okay, so now that's ready to go set up in the machine. When you do set this up in the machine, because you have your chuck jaws protruding slightly from the outside of the chuck, it's important that you make sure you set the machine up so these are not going to run into our cross slide on our lathe as the job's turning around. So always check your clearances before you start taking the cut. You're going to have an intermittent cut with this job because we've got long bits of material hanging on the outside, so we're not going to run it too fast, so we won't be running our carbide at its desired speed. We'll actually slow it down to accommodate for the intermittent cut. Also, because we've got an intermittent cut, make sure you lock your carriage off when you're taking your facing cut. And that's it. Just face it off down to the line. That's all you have to do, and then everything will be referenced from that point forward.